what made me go back was probably the love of Everton Football Club in my time there, what I had before. And I had so many good memories of sort of how it went and the years I had and the people we brought in and the people who I got to meet made it probably a difficult decision. It was a shock decision, I have to say, because I didn't expect Sean to go, and I don't think MD did at the time, and it came out the blue really in some ways. But happy to be back. It's been really chaotic, really, the first week or two, but thankfully we were able to pick up a couple of wins in that period as well.
When you went back and you said it was an easy decision, are you back at the same club that you left in 2013, or has it changed a lot?
Oh, it's not the same club then. It's a changed club. I mean, there's a lot of really, really good things going on here, what they've done at Finch Farm. There's a lot of different parts of it, new extensions, etc. But I think when I left at the time, I think I left a really good Everton team. I also think, we left a club in a good position as far as sort of league positions going on, but also financially maybe not so bad. What we were needing at that time was like new ownership. We're looking for a new ground, etc. And we couldn't quite find that when I left. So I think there is a completely different Everton here, but they've also probably got a different David Moyes back as well.
In what way are you different? Is your footballing philosophy any different to what it was?
I hope that through my career that I've been able to sort of adapt and change as I've gone along, and even how you communicate, how you talk. But I think my football philosophies have changed as well. I think that you're having to go along. There's a lot of trends there nowadays which I don't hugely believe in, but some of it you have to go along with it. I think the whole world of football's changing. I think in everything there is in life it changes and it moves on, and I think you have to be able to change. And I think that there's so many new parts to football that maybe days gone past. We could even talk about how referees referee. There's tackles are different, challenges are different nowadays. So that in itself makes a lot of things different as well.
It's been quite a journey, hasn't it, to get back to where you started in a way. Manchester United, Sunderland, abroad to Spain, then to West Ham. Would you do anything differently if you could?
When I left Everton, I had been here 11 and a half years. And I think I just had to make sure that, I say many times, I didn't want to overstay my welcome. And I felt like it was probably right for both me and the club to leave. So, but when you look back, as everybody does, you always think, well, maybe I shouldn't have taken that job, or maybe I shouldn't have moved to that place, whatever I was going to do. But I don't regret any of it, because I've really enjoyed my career. I've been lucky to have some success, but most managers on their journey, it's never going to be always one way. You've always got to put up with disappointments and losing games and losing your job for most of us at different times of your career. So, but I've got to say I'm really fortunate that I'm now back at Everton and having a chance at it again.
So Bramley Moor Dock is obviously now so close. What kind of opportunities and what kind of challenges does that bring a football club? And do you think, are you in a sort of unique position to be able to give your advice and experience on how you can pull all that together so it best benefits the club?
Well, I hope that would, I could give my advice and my experience to the club, whether I was the manager or whether it was something else. I think that I'll always hope that I would be able to help Everton if they asked me to. But yeah, I think the excitement of moving to the new stadium, as I said, when we first came in, there was always talk about new stadiums, new venues where we could do it. It's now a reality. It's about to happen. We've got a new shiny new stadium. I think history might tell you that. I think a lot of clubs who move to a new stadium at first, it can be quite difficult. I don't think it's always that easy a situation. And I do think that playing at Goodison's unbelievably intimidating over the years. When the crowd are at their best and some of the big nights, it's some place to play your football, and it's the feeling of quite a tight, intimidating stadium. So sometimes when you move away, we found a little bit when we moved to the London Stadium. I wasn't there at the end, but when I came to it, they were still trying to get used to the size of it, the surrounds, the distances. Everything felt much bigger. So it can take you a little bit of time to settle in, but I think it's something everybody who's an Everton supporter over the years have been waiting for a long time.
It seems quite fitting, actually, that you'll be the last Everton manager at Goodison Park. Will you miss it? And do you think the club will miss it?
I think we'll all miss Goodison. I've got to say, when there was a lot of talk when I first was here about what would happen to Goodison, I was saying, no, can we not build on top of it? Can we not get another tier on top of the stand? Can we not, not one side down and do it up and keep Goodison? But the people who know more about money than me probably felt that it was better to find a new venue and change and get out of Goodison. So, but that's football. It changes, and everything, as we talked about, everything changes along the road, I should say, and this is one of them as well. Another move to a new stadium.
Speaking of changes, you've changed Everton's fortunes in the last couple of weeks. I think you have to go all the way back to the back end of last season for the last time Everton won 3 consecutive Premier League games. What have you changed?
Well, I think we've tried to give the players a little bit more confidence and maybe a little bit more belief to go and have a go. A little bit more situation to say, look, we're going to have to make more chances and create more chances. How are we going to do it? How are we going to score? Because scoring goals and making goals has been our biggest problem. Dicey's left a really good team, well drilled, well organised, and hopefully I can retain that and see if we can add on a little bit of layer or two more. But we're definitely hampered by the PSR just now in maybe going out and going into the transfer market to buy levels of player what Everton Football Club I think would be expecting, and how are we going to compete with many of the other big teams in the Premier League. So we have to try and get over this hurdle the best we can at the moment, and by hook or by crook we need to do that. I don't really care how we win the games at the moment, but I do believe that the players are doing a really good job at the moment. The last couple of games have been terrific. They've played well, passed the ball well, and created a bit more chances than we have done earlier in the season, I believe.
Yeah, you're not the first manager to say that about PSR. Is that hampering a lot of clubs, and do you think that's something that we have to get used to, or do you think it's something that might change for the good of the game?
Well, I think that I can only speak for Evertonians, and I've not been here over the period. The pain they must have gone through with having points deductions and not being able to buy probably the level of player what the club would be hoping to buy or bring in. I can see how it's had an effect on the football club. And for the last couple of years, they've done really, really well to make sure that they weren't relegated. And until you come in the building, which I have done now, and you realise that, how it's felt, I think everybody feels we're on the way out of it now. We can see it now. We're moving away from the darkness and hopefully into the light. But we've just got a little bit left to get rid of before we can be clear. So we've got to make sure we go over the line, get to our new stadium as a Premier League club. But hopefully also, play some good football if we can, and give the supporters the enjoyment of Goodison in the last few months of the season.
Once you feel that you're safe, is there a next step to go to about entertaining fans, about seeing off the season in style, saying goodbye to Goodison in style?
Oh, there's definitely that stage where we move on next, but I'm finding it very hard to think further than gaining the points at the moment to be a Premier League club. I think that I can't even look to consider at the moment, because I'm saying let's just make sure we're out of this position. But I generally think that our performances in the last couple of games have been better, and have created more chances, more opportunities to score more goals than maybe we have in the past. But ultimately, we need to score them. We need to win the games. And I've said a few times today, I'm not putting any more pressure on the players here, because the players here have been under great pressure for quite a few years, and I want them to play with a bit of confidence. I want them to play with a bit of control, a bit of belief as well, without feeling that it's a huge pressure that which they have to deal with. Goodison's enough pressure itself, being inside it as a player. So we want the players to play with a wee bit of freedom and take the ball and hopefully do all the right things.